Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, Bwana Musalia Mudavadi, Bwana Principal Secretary, Bwana Omolo, Honorable Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, Mungu saidia. It's indeed a thrill to be here today to share this report with Kenyans. I will not be able to repeat what has been said, but Your Excellency, Your Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, on the outset, let me say, when we were appointed by the Principal Secretary, the mandate was to study Kenya's peace and conflict ecosystem. The commitment we made under General Opande was to have a compact that is not only disruptive, but one that ensures our posterity, that secures our preferred future. And that in the recommendations, it should not be a ritual. Whatever we have said, we must be able to walk the talk. Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, as we go into the details of the report, 3 key elements stand out. And I say this on behalf of the IPA members. For us to walk the journey, there must be consistency and commitment to these recommendations by the government. In our mind, when we are doing all this, we agreed we need to establish a significant legacy for His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. And we are glad he has been very supportive. Secondly, Honorable Prime Secretary, is that securing peace is not an easy enterprise. It requires harmonized ideas, strategies, and coordination of resources. For every dollar the partners give, the Kenya government is a request that they commit also to support corresponding resources for us to secure a better Kenya. Thirdly, Honorable Prime Secretary, in doing this, our conversation has been very disruptive. We had radical candor amongst ourselves to continue and harmonize different institutions with different mandate to secure the Kenya we want. And I must thank the Honorable Principal Secretary Omolo, a very humble man. He has worked with us in the journey. And for purpose of continuity, so that we don't start this thing afresh, he has been very supportive. We have called him at odd hours, and he has truly supported us. For purpose of continuity, it is the contention of the IPA members, unless he climbs up the ladder as Cabinet Secretary, for us to retain him as Cabinet Secretary, the Principal Secretary for continuity. Hiyo ni yetu, na ni muombe kwako. The first slide. Go to the second one. Yes, in this background, Honorable Principal Secretary, Prime Secretary, is that in doing so, we said we don't want a Kenya that is perpetually fixated in conflict, that we seek to manage the risk in the future. Managing the risk in the future means managing the present. By focusing on the present, then we can design a better alternative for a better future. In doing so, we looked at the key drivers of conflict, which includes the electoral conflicts and the deeper causes of conflict in our country, mainly land, resource, climate change, ethnicity. Ethnicity has been the biggest driver of conflict in this country. And we want to applaud His Excellency the President for reaching out to leaders in this country who feel they are out of the orbit, especially having the Honorable Prime Minister and the former President in the conversation. This Kenya we prefer is a Kenya that should be built by all. Honorable Cabinet Secretary, we also acknowledge that poverty is very dehumanizing. Unless we fix poverty, peace will be a mirage. In fixing poverty again, it means to entrench the promise of devolution. So far we have done good strides, but we can do better. Conflict creates multiple impacts such as economic loss and flight of, and as has been seen in the Mandamano desire by the young people and Kenyans in general. Therefore, this gives us an opportunity to redirect our political will, which His Excellency the President has given, build our technical and adaptive capabilities in securing a better Kenya, and also allocating resources for sustainable peace. Let's go to the, this has been said, let's go to the findings for purpose of time. Honorable Prime Secretary, in doing well with what we are recommending, we made a deeper analysis with technical experts provided by the UN and other local Kenyan experts in examining the current architecture of conflict. We also sought to balance the conflicting trends and sequencing for peace building and look at the securitized responses that we usually engage in. We also looked at the need for state financing for peace building, and that's what I said in my opening remarks, and also acknowledge the significant contribution and goodwill from the international community and partners. Also examine the nexus between violent extremism, peace building, and the preferred Kenya we want. Mediation is also a critical component, not only for peace at the national level, but also at the household level. What we have also realized, unless Kenyans are self-aware and they are committed to peace in their homes, then we can have a bigger Kenya in our counties and the national. Digital peace building, the future is digital, Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary. The nexus between science, technology, and innovation in building peace and enabling our young people to tap into those is a critical component. Local and traditional peace building by leveraging indigenous knowledge, securing the knowledge of our ancestors, and also ensuring in dispute resolution. This for us, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, will help us secure regional peace and security. As you have heard, both Mali and Ghana reached out to us for purpose of partnership because our research pieces were not only deep, but they were clinically targeted on key areas we need to look at. Honorable Cabinet Secretary, a month ago I was in Sierra Leone by a forum organized by an American think tank called the Catalyst for Peace. I also conveyed greetings from General Opande. Sir, if you are in that room, the standing ovation his name was accorded is because he helped secure that country. Our appeal as IPA members, for not any other reason, for the singular purpose of honoring General Opande, sir, we appeal to His Excellency the President and through you to have this new peace agenda implemented accordingly. Secondly, sir, we also acknowledge the tactical and deliberate leadership of our Principal Secretary. Actually, he has taken enormous efforts to say the responsibility of Kenyans is on your shoulders. And what we said, there will be never again will there be a conflict in this country. But again, in having the new peace fund, which we envisage in the harmonized institutional programming, there must be sound integrity and personal accountability in fixing the conflict in this country. Finally, Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, our recommendations are premised on 4 pillars. One is the new statement of aspirations of the new National Peace Agenda for Peace, which I think, and I truly trust that our Principal Secretary has shared with you. A new vision for political representation. This includes the young people, the young women, the youth, and the emerging women leaders. And I'm glad to report, Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, where is my brother, Mesengeli? He is now Gen Z friendly because of this report. Thank you very much. And he has actually shown commitment in our follow-up engagements and dialogue because we need to build our institutions to help the peace and the security of every Kenyan. Thirdly, Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, we must also seek deliberately and be intentional in our commitment to addressing long-standing and emerging conflict drivers, with particular focus, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, is on the issue of land. The nexus between land, the operative cartels and systems, the dispossession of victims, and when agencies highlight these issues, it's only government that can be guarantor for peace. And His Excellency, we have seen some efforts His Excellency the President has committed to this, but we want to walk this talk more. The fourth, sir, is our plan for reforming the national peace institutions. Sir, my brother, the Principal Secretary, knows this. We had a very serious pushback amongst the multiple institutions in trying to harmonize this, because change is always difficult. But you said, if we truly want to secure a better Kenya, a different Kenya, we must think differently and act accordingly. And I think the Ministry of Interior has truly given us that support. Therefore, the implementation mechanism for the new peace agenda, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, Prime Cabinet Secretary, it is the contention of the IPA members. When we are having our conversation, sir, we know you are a stabilizing voice in this government, and we want you to be a champion for peace. Even as we secure and continue with this trend, we are truly confident that His Excellency the President will rock this agenda and secure a better Kenya, both in word and in deed. With those few remarks and the powers conferred upon me by the IPA members, I call upon the Principal Secretary and our own Prime Cabinet Secretary and the ambassadors for me to deliver the report, and if you could come to the stage. Sometimes when you are given power, you exercise it accordingly. Thank you very much. Kuja nisaidie sasa. I give to the Principal Secretary and I give it to you and the ambassadors because they are partners. Wacha kwanza nikupatia kila picha. Kupatia. Muko tayari? General Mercy amenyo tunamwakilisha. We can share as it continues. No, patia huyu mkono mkono. You need to stand next to her. All right. Very good.
Thank you very much, Mukhtar Ogle, IPA, and our guest of honor, as well as our ambassadors and my boss.